John Harbaugh's first order of business as Giants head coach was firing some of the coaches from the Dayball area and making some changes within the building. Now he's got to find himself an OC, DC, and then fill out the rest of his staff. Our NFL reporter for the Post, Ryan Dunleavy, is hopping on today's Blue Rush with the Ryan report on who Harbaugh could be targeting. You like that? I see you smiling there. It's all about branding these
Yeah.
days, man. It's all about branding these days. Let's talk about the OC situation because Harbaugh's OC in Baltimore, Todd Monken, as you know, is reported as the reported favor for the job. He's waiting to hear if he's going to be the next Browns head coach. So, what are you hearing about the Giants' chances of possibly landing Monken? And if not Monken, who are some of the other serious candidates you think Harbaugh will interview? This morning, there was a report that he's requested to interview Ravens running back coach and assistant head coach Willie Taggart as well.
Yeah, Willie Taggart is about basically a Harbaugh brother. He played for Jack, the father at Western Kentucky. He coached under John at Stanford. He coached under Jim at Stanford. He coached under John with the Ravens. So he's as well versed in the Harbaugh way as anybody. Um, I think it's a sign, the Willie Taggart interview, that if he's not the offensive coordinator, and obviously Harbaugh's preparing as if he's going to lose Todd Monken. If he's not the offensive coordinator and Monken is, I think it's a strong sign that Willie Taggart will be the running backs coach for the Giants. I've heard that the Ravens don't plan to block any assistant coach interviews for the offensive staff. So I think you could see a lot of the Ravens offensive staff come here. Monken is the favorite. Of course, there are rules to these things. Even if you are transitioning from one job to the other, you can't just take your staff from Baltimore and transplant it to New York. So you have to comply with the Rooney Rule, which means two external minority candidates have to interview for the job. Taggart is obviously one of them. I think it would be a surprise if they hired Taggart over Monken, since he just had Taggart under Monken in Baltimore, but he's got to prepare as if he's losing Todd Monken, though I don't think he is a favorite for that job. I think that job will probably go to a younger whiz kid in Cleveland, somebody like Grant Udalski from the Jaguars or Nate Shielchase from the Rams, and maybe even Jim Schwartz, the in-house defensive coordinator. If it's not Taggart or Monken, then I guess Greg Roman, the former Ravens coordinator and former Chargers coordinator, is an option. But you've really seen all the reports are focused on Monken right now.
You think Jackson Dart is going to have any say on who this next coordinator will be? You think they're planning for Jackson to meet with any of these candidates?
I think that's probably already happened, to be honest with you. We heard Joe Shane say that Harbaugh and Jackson Dart had to be broken up after a 2-hour meeting when he was at the facility before he was hired. I'm sure, as much as that was, getting to know each other, I'm sure the offensive coordinator, here's my plan for you. I'm sure that already happened. So, I don't think that John Harbaugh on his 18-year resume is going to take the rookie quarterback's opinion on offensive coordinators, but I'm sure he has Jackson Dart's development and what scheme fits him best at the top of his matchup list for suitors. I don't think he needs Jackson Dart to weigh in. I think Harbaugh knows what's best for him in that scenario.
Yeah, we talked how much of Jackson Dart's development was a priority in the Harbaugh hire. Now, another priority is getting this defense fixed. So, on the defensive side of the football, who are you hearing that are some of the favorites that will interview to land this DC job?
Yeah, there haven't been any interview requests that we know of, but around the league, the people that I know, who I've asked about who Harbaugh is going to target, the names that come up are Anthony Weaver, who's the former Ravens position coach, was the Dolphins coordinator. He interviewed from some head coaching jobs this cycle. Denard Wilson was the Titans defensive coordinator, former Ravens position coach. You'll see a trend here. He was the favorite, Brian Daboll's favorite, before they hired Shane Bowen. And Denard Wilson ended up going to the Titans to replace Shane Bowen rather than coming here. So he's somebody the Giants have had their eye on for a while. And then Jim Leonard, the former Wisconsin University defensive coordinator, former Jets player. He's up for both the Jets defensive coordinator and the Giants defensive coordinator. Probably some other ones too. He's the Broncos assistant head coach and a former Jets player. So I think those are probably your three leading candidates. I guess Zach Orr was the Ravens defensive coordinator, but I would be surprised if Harbaugh brought him along in that role.
Yeah, Jim Leonard also played for Harbaugh with the Ravens as well. When I was with the Dolphins, we lost to them in a wild card game. I actually have a picture of him tackling me. I should have broke that tackle, Ryan. Maybe that's why I didn't stay in the league for that long. But it would be funny to see him as the Giants' defensive coordinator. Now let's flip and talk about the power dynamic, because we were always wondering what that dynamic was going, or working relationship was going to be in between John Harbaugh and Joe Schoen. But now John Harbaugh has come in and made moves right away. Are you surprised with some of the in-house coaches that he's let go, and the news of the franchise parting ways with longtime senior exec Kevin Abrams, and them repositioning longtime head trainer Ronnie Barnes? What does all this tell you about how much power John Harbaugh will have overall?
There's a lot there, Brandon. Let me take it one by one.
Okay,
One,
my bad, my
not
bad.
surprised by the coach, not surprised by the coaches who have been let go. I think the only coaches really with a chance to stay are Charlie Bullen, who I reported last night has an interview. It's not a lock that he'll stay, but I think there's a chance. Could he stay as defensive coordinator? Maybe an outside shot, probably more likely as outside linebackers coach. Other teams have interest in him as a defensive coordinator, though, so there's competition. Offensive line coach Carmen Brasillo, I would characterize as the leading candidate to be the offensive line coach. I'd be surprised if anybody else stayed. A bunch of the defensive assistant coaches were told they didn't even need to interview with him, which is a little bit of breaking news that we thought everybody was going to get a chance to meet with Harbaugh. It did not happen. Joe Schoen informed some guys not that they weren't needed. So no, not surprised by that. Surprised by the other moves. I'm surprised they happened this quickly. Like, obviously the John Harbaugh was fighting for as much control as he could in the negotiation. I am surprised that we're 48 hours into his official tenure and Kevin Abrams is out and Ronnie Barnes is reassigned. I did hear Ronnie Barnes had been looking to transition to more of an oversight role and less of a head athletic trainer role, a job he's had since 1981. This obviously is the perfect time since John wants his own athletic trainer and Ronnie was kind of looking for more of an advisory role anyway. So that matches up. Kevin Abrams obviously was expecting to be part of this regime. He's a salary cap guru. He's been with the Giants since 1999, was a GM in waiting at one point behind Dave Gettleman. I'm surprised that Harbaugh didn't do the thing that a lot of people do with from scouts on up, which is give everybody an evaluation period, a couple months to see how you are at your job and before you make any major changes. But I think that was a sign that he has his own people in mind for some of the front office roles. So Giants fans, obviously, tired of the losing, will say like, oh, these are overdue changes to the old guard. But people forget that these people were here and in prominent roles when the Giants were won 2 Super Bowls and were an annual playoff team too. So they're not all to blame, but obviously big changes coming as Harbaugh flexes a little bit of authority.
Yeah, it looks like the Giants' way is slowly transitioning